This is a Dementialand podcast. I don't have a clue how this happened, but in this podcast, it's in two parts. Two stories not even slightly related to each other. I blame it on CovidBrain. I'm totally disorganized. It's one of the side effects of extended isolation and quarantine. So let's just begin. Maybe everything would have been perfect if it would just stay the same. But that's not real, and certainly not real today. For me, the COVID-19 isolation had some similarities to the properties of Dementialand, a topsy-turvy place where everything is turned upside down. The unknown and letting go of the predictable is obvious, which in the past has been reserved for the young and the trusting adventurers in the world. So in this podcast, I want to start with the story titled The Horse Keeper and the carousel ride back to innocence. Maybe it's time for all of us to grab that brass ring and get ready for some changes. Hold on and let the races begin. My name is Suska. The horses were painted gold, turquoise, and black, their saddles gilded on their backs. Their reins were real leather. A metal bit was placed through a hole in the horse's mouth. Violet climbed on one of the horses, the one that would take her far above the ground. Time held on to Violet tightly, but every eye in the room was on the keeper of the horses. They waited for the keeper to put his finger in his ear and give a loud holler. He would then follow it with an uproarious and uncontrollable laugh, which made the team of painted horses come alive.
Hold on, my kings and queens of Dementialand! Memories be damned! Let the races begin! Ha ha ha!
The trees and their windows moved first, slowly to its side. Everything Violet remembered followed cautiously, making circles around the room. Violet moved past the bed, past the couch, past 3 baby girls. The sounds of their young voices jumping and shouting in and out of Violet's sight. The horses' iron poles pumped steadily up and down, causing the music to play and all the horses to dance. Violet's horse carried her closer to the top, where she could see a pattern of crossed ironworks which made her memory move in circles and skip its order. The music was foreign but happy. It came from a place where Violet's father owned the sun, a place where he pruned and pampered his roses as he whistled his pleasure with the birds who worked for his favor. In that room, everything began to move faster and disappear in the window's reflection. Carnivalesque characters jumped and howled, juggling the order of things with little concern for who was confused or didn't understand. And the colors in the room, they stretched themselves beyond their place. The Canbian reds, ambers, saffrons, and oranges went screaming into the night. The room was spinning, chasing its conventional demons, while the moon held on tightly to the tree's branches until the sky moved it. Its accompanying wind was gentle like the hand of God on your face. The music and the keeper of the horses would eventually exhaust themselves in the excitement. Everything would then slow down and all the colors would return to their formulas. Violet lost herself in those times. The adventure always made her dizzy. She looked back at her bed and the metal rails that kept her grounded in her sleep, looking around for her babies. They were never there. The dementias walked them home. Mrs. Violet, there's a call for you. I believe it's your daughter. My mother had no idea who I was. Surprisingly enough, I was okay with that. It made me think of the number of people in my past that I would like to meet today for the very first time. But I began missing my daughterness, missing that rebellious middle child who drove my mother crazy and delighted her at the same time. I liked Violet, but I was missing my mother. I called the house phone using my cell from another room. Hi, Mom, it's Zuzka. How you doing?
Zuzka, why haven't you come to see me? You know your sisters call me every day, and they ask me how I'm doing. Every day, mind you. Did you know little Vi had a baby?
Little Vi's baby was 12 years old.
Did you see him? You know little Vi lives real close to you, somewhere there in California. You've got to go visit her. And when you go, take some pictures of the new baby and mail them to me.
Well, Mom, actually, it's a bit of a drive. She lives over 400 miles from where I live.
400 miles, that's nothing. I started driving when I was 12, and I drove everywhere. Do you remember when I drove you kids to Florida? I did nearly all the driving. Your father didn't help at all. We'd still be in Georgia today if he was driving. Well, you gotta go and see her. And go see Mira, too. She lives down there somewhere. You know, she called me this morning.
After a short breath, my mother continued.
She teaches all day long. I don't know how she does it. You know, both your sisters came to visit me last week. Did I talk to you since then? Oh, we had a wonderful time.
Nope, that never happened.
Did I tell you that 2 women are living with me now? Did you know that? I don't know how they got here. One is from Europe. She can talk a little Slovak. And the other, can't talk any European words to save her life, the poor thing. She's nice, the other one. She paints on her clothes, though. She's a very strange girl.
My mother's voice changed, adding serious undertones. A mumbling sound crawled through the phone's receiver. Her words were lowered and felt as if they were cupped and stuffed into the mouthpiece, fearing its intention might be overheard.
Those women, they don't feed me. They don't feed me nothing. I'm all skin and bones. If it weren't for me drinking my Ensure, you'd be talking to a dead person right now.
For all you kings and queens of the COVID pandemic, it's time to grab the brass ring and get ready for some changes. It's time to take chances and risk it all and try for something beyond what we had. Hold on and let the races begin.